The cup was already at his lips when small hands knocked it away. Poison splashed across concrete. A 7-year-old girl had just saved a stranger's life, but when he looked into her eyes, he saw a ghost from his past. But no one imagined what would come next. Before we dive in, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Hit like and subscribe for more incredible true stories. 7-year-old Emma Carter sat on the park bench, her stomach growling so loudly she thought everyone could hear it. She'd had half a stale bagel that morning, the last food in their apartment. Her mother, Sarah, was at her 3rd job interview this week, desperately trying to find work that paid enough to keep them off the streets. Emma watched other children playing, their laughter echoing across Riverside Park. They had new shoes, clean clothes, parents who smiled. Emma's shoes had holes. Her dress was faded from too many washes, and her mother cried every night when she thought Emma was asleep. "Stay here," Sarah had said that morning, pressing 50 cents into Emma's palm. "Buy yourself something small if you get too hungry. I'll be back by 3. It was almost 2 o'clock now, and Emma's 50 cents was still in her pocket. She was saving it in case Mama needed it more. That's when she noticed the man at the juice stand near the park entrance. He wore an expensive suit that even Emma's 7-year-old eyes recognized as costly. His dark hair was streaked with silver, his face lined with exhaustion. He ordered orange juice and sat at a nearby table, staring at his phone with an expression of deep sadness. Emma might have looked away, but something made her keep watching. Maybe it was boredom. Maybe it was the way his hands trembled slightly as he set down his briefcase. Then she saw the other man, younger, wearing dark sunglasses despite the cloudy day. He approached the juice stand, spoke quietly to the vendor, and slipped him money. The vendor nodded, poured a cup from a different container, and set it aside. When the well-dressed man went to the restroom, dark sunglasses moved fast. He switched the cups, placing the one from the special container in front of the expensive suit's seat. Then he disappeared into the crowd. Emma's heart pounded. Something was very wrong. Her mother always said, "Trust your instincts," and Emma's instincts were screaming. The man returned, sat down, and reached for the cup. His fingers wrapped around it. He lifted it toward his lips. Emma didn't think. She just moved. She ran across the park, her worn shoes slapping against pavement. "Stop!" she screamed. "Don't drink it!" She crashed into the table just as the cup touched his mouth. Her small hands knocked it from his grip. Orange liquid splashed across the concrete, forming a spreading puddle. The man stared at her in shock. "What are you—" "Someone switched your drink," Emma gasped, pointing at the juice stand. "A man in dark glasses. He paid the vendor and switched the cups when you went to the bathroom." The man's expression changed from surprise to calculation in an instant. He pulled out his phone, pressed a button. "Marcus, I'm at Riverside Park. Someone just attempted to poison me. Get security here now, and call Detective Morrison." Emma backed away, suddenly frightened. Had she just imagined everything? Would she get in trouble? But the man looked at her with such intensity that she froze. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Emma," she whispered. "Emma Carter." His face went completely white. "Carter? Your mother's name?" "Sarah Carter." The man actually staggered, gripping the table for support. "Sarah Carter from Boston. Dark hair, hazel eyes." Emma nodded slowly, confused and scared. "My God," he breathed. "Emma, you're Emma, after all these years." His eyes filled with tears. "I'm James Brooks, your uncle, your mother's brother." Emma's world tilted. "Mama said I didn't have any family. Your mother and I had a terrible fight 9 years ago. She disappeared, and I've been searching ever since." James knelt beside her, his hands shaking. "Where is she? Where's Sarah?" "At a job interview. We live on Maple Street, apartment 4B. Emma bit her lip. "We don't have much money. Mama works really hard, but it's not enough." James's face contorted with pain and rage, not at Emma, but at himself. My sister's been struggling while I've been. God, Sarah, what have you been living through? Men in dark suits arrived, surrounding the area. One carefully collected the spilled juice in a container. Another spoke into a radio, describing dark sunglasses to security teams. James never took his eyes off Emma. You saved my life, sweetheart. Do you understand that? Someone wanted to kill me and you stopped them. Why would someone want to hurt you? Emma asked. Because I'm a very wealthy man with enemies who want what I have. James touched her cheek gently, but none of that matters right now. What matters is that I've found you. I found my family, and I'm going to make sure you and your mother never want for anything again. Emma didn't understand most of what happened next. Police arrived, asking her to describe the man in dark glasses over and over. She answered as best as she could, while James stayed beside her, his hand protectively on her shoulder. A woman named Detective Morrison took charge of the scene. Mr. Brooks, we'll analyze the juice immediately. If your suspicions are correct and this was poison, we're looking at attempted murder. I want around-the-clock protection for this child and her mother, James said firmly. Whoever did this might realize Emma saw them. She could be in danger. Emma's stomach twisted with a new kind of fear. She'd just been trying to help. Now, she might be in danger. Where's your mother right now? Detective Morrison asked kindly. At a job interview at Henderson's restaurant on 5th Street. She should be done soon. James pulled out his phone. What's her number? I need to call her. Emma recited it from memory. Mama had made her memorize it in case of emergencies. James dialed, pacing as it rang. His face fell when it went to voicemail. Sarah, it's James. I know you don't want to hear from me, but please call me immediately. It's about Emma. She's safe, she's with me, but I need to talk to you urgently. He left his number and hung up, looking anguished. She won't call back, Emma said quietly. When she hears your name, she'll think you're trying to take me away. Why would she think that? James asked, kneeling beside her again. Because that's what you fought about. I heard her tell her friend once that you wanted to control her life, that you thought she wasn't good enough. Emma's voice got smaller. She said you'd try to take me if you ever found us. James closed his eyes, pain washing over his face. I said terrible things 9 years ago. I was angry and scared. Sarah wanted to marry someone I didn't approve of. I thought he was using her for my money. I threatened to cut her off if she married him. We both said things we didn't mean, and she ran. My father, Emma asked carefully. She'd never known him. He left Sarah when she got pregnant. Just like I'd warned her he would, which probably made her hate me even more. James's voice cracked. I've spent 9 years searching for her, for you, trying to apologize. And all that time, you've been struggling in this city while I had everything. Emma didn't know what to say. Her mama had never spoken about Uncle James, had told Emma they had no family, but looking at this man's face, so much like her mother's, the same hazel eyes, the same stubborn chin, Emma saw the truth. He was family, and he was genuinely heartbroken. I'm not a bad man, Emma, James said urgently, as if reading her thoughts. I made mistakes with your mother, huge mistakes, but I love her, and I already love you. Let me protect you, both of you. Before Emma could respond, her mother's voice cut through the crowd. Emma, Emma, where are you? Sarah Carter pushed through the police officers, her face frantic. She was thin, too thin, with dark circles under her eyes that spoke of exhaustion and worry. But she was still beautiful, still fierce, as she gathered Emma into her arms. I'm fine, Mama, Emma said quickly. I'm okay. Then Sarah saw James. She froze, her face going through a dozen emotions, shock, anger, fear, and something else Emma couldn't name. You, Sarah breathed. How did you find us? I didn't. Emma saved my life, and I found her. James stood slowly, hands raised peacefully. Sarah, Someone tried to poison me today. Emma stopped them. She's a hero, but she might also be in danger now. Sarah pulled Emma closer. No, no, we're leaving. Come on, baby. Ms. Carter, wait. Detective Morrison stepped forward. Your daughter may have witnessed an attempted murder. We need her statement, and frankly, if the perpetrator realizes she can identify them, she could be targeted. Mr. Brooks is right about protection. I can protect my own daughter, Sarah said fiercely. With what? James asked gently. Sarah, please. I know you hate me. You have every right to. But Emma doesn't deserve to pay for our mistakes. Let me keep you both safe. Let me help. The way you helped before by trying to run my life. I was wrong. James's voice rose with emotion. I was controlling and arrogant, and I drove you away. I've regretted it every single day. Sarah, please, I'm begging you, let me protect my family. Emma watched her mother war with herself. Pride battled with fear and exhaustion. Finally, Sarah's shoulders sagged. Temporary, she said hoarsely. Just until the police catch whoever did this. Then Emma and I go back to our lives. Whatever you want, James agreed immediately. Thank you, Sarah. Emma felt her world shifting beneath her feet. This morning, she'd been a poor girl with a struggling mother. Tonight, she was going home with an uncle she'd never known existed. An uncle someone had tried to kill. What had she gotten herself into? James's estate took Emma's breath away. The car, a sleek black SUV driven by a man named Marcus, who James introduced as his head of security, pulled through iron gates that opened automatically. They drove up a winding driveway lined with perfectly manicured gardens. The house itself looked like something from a movie. 3 stories of brick and windows, with columns flanking the front entrance. Emma pressed her nose against the car window, unable to believe people actually lived in places like this. This is where you live? She whispered to James. This is where we live now, James corrected gently. All of us. Sarah sat rigid in the front seat, her jaw tight. Emma could tell Mama was fighting not to be impressed, fighting not to feel small and poor in comparison to James's obvious wealth. A woman waited at the front door, middle-aged with kind eyes and graying blonde hair. Mr. Brooks, welcome home, and you must be Sarah and Emma. This is Linda, my housekeeper and friend, James explained. Linda, this is my sister Sarah and my niece Emma. They'll be staying with us indefinitely. Linda's face lit up with genuine warmth. Oh, how wonderful. I've heard so much about you both over the years. Mr. Brooks has been looking for you forever. Inside was even more overwhelming. Marble floors, sweeping staircases, artwork on the walls. Emma tried not to gawk, but it was impossible. She'd never seen anything so beautiful. Linda will show you to your rooms, James said. Rest, clean up, and we'll have dinner together. Then we need to talk about security arrangements. Sarah started to protest, but exhaustion won. Fine. But Emma stays with me. Of course, James agreed quickly. Linda led them upstairs to a suite of rooms that were bigger than their entire apartment. 2 bedrooms connected by a shared bathroom, each room decorated in soft blues and creams. The beds looked enormous and impossibly soft. There are clothes in the closets, Linda explained. Mr. Brooks had me purchase some things while you were on your way here. If they don't fit or you don't like them, we'll get others. Emma opened the closet in her room and gasped. Beautiful dresses, casual clothes, pajamas, all brand new, all her size. Shoes lined the bottom of the closet, more pairs than Emma had owned in her entire life. How did he know my size? Emma asked. He estimated based on the average for a 7-year-old, Linda said with a smile. But if anything needs adjusting, just let me know. After Linda left, Sarah sat on Emma's bed and pulled her close. Baby, I need you to understand something. This isn't our life. This is temporary. We can't get used to this. Why not? Emma asked. Mama, he's family. He wants to help. Because people like your uncle think money solves everything. He'll try to control us, tell us how to live, what to do." Sarah's voice trembled. "I won't be controlled again, Emma, I won't. He seems nice," Emma ventured carefully. "He can afford to be nice right now. But men like James always have conditions, always expect something in return." Sarah kissed Emma's forehead. "Just don't get too attached, okay? This isn't forever." But lying in the softest bed she'd ever felt, surrounded by beautiful things, Emma couldn't help a tiny spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, things could be different. Maybe Uncle James really did want to help with no strings attached. Dinner that night was awkward but delicious. Linda had prepared roasted chicken, vegetables, fresh bread, more food than Emma usually saw in a week. She tried not to eat too fast, but everything tasted so good. James watched Emma with a mixture of joy and sorrow. "How long has it been since you've eaten properly?" "James," Sarah warned. "I'm not judging, Sarah. I'm trying to understand." James set down his fork. "Tell me honestly, how bad has it been?" Sarah's defenses crumbled. "Bad. I've been working 2 jobs, sometimes 3, but rent keeps going up. Emma eats first always, but some days there's not enough for both of us. We've been 1 missed paycheck away from homelessness for 2 years. James's hands clenched. "While I've had all this, God, Sarah, why didn't you reach out? Even if you hated me for Emma's sake, because I was terrified you'd take her from me." Sarah's voice broke. "You're rich and powerful. I'm a struggling single mother. What court wouldn't give you custody if you wanted it?" "I would never take Emma from you," James said fiercely. "Sarah, you're my sister. I love you. I want to help both of you, not split you apart. You say that now, and I'll say it every day until you believe me." James leaned forward. "Look, I know I was controlling before. I thought I knew what was best for you, and I was wrong. You're an adult. You make your own choices. But Emma is a child who deserves stability, safety, and full meals. Let me provide that. Not as a replacement for you, but as support. Please." Emma watched her mother struggle. Finally, Sarah nodded. "Okay, but we need rules. Boundaries." "Whatever you want," James agreed immediately. They talked for hours, establishing guidelines. Sarah would look for work. James offered her a position in his company, but she refused, wanting to maintain independence. Emma would attend a good school, one James would pay for. They would live at the estate temporarily until Sarah saved enough for a place of their own. Emma listened, realizing that adults were complicated. Uncle James and Mama loved each other, but had hurt each other too. Healing would take time. That night, Emma heard James talking to someone on the phone in his study. She'd gotten up for water and paused in the hallway when she heard his voice. "Yes, Detective Morrison. Any leads on the man Emma described?" "I see. And the juice analysis?" "Arsenic. Christ, if Emma hadn't stopped me." His voice shook. "Who wants me dead badly enough to use poison in broad daylight?" "Gerald Morgan, of course." "Has he been questioned?" "Not enough evidence yet, understood. But Detective, whoever did this knows a 7-year-old girl witnessed the attempt. Please tell me you're taking her safety seriously." Emma crept back to bed, her mind spinning. Someone named Gerald Morgan might want Uncle James dead, and that same person might come after her now. Suddenly, the beautiful house felt less like a fairy tale and more like a castle under siege. Emma pulled the soft blankets up to her chin and wished, not for the first time, that she'd just stayed on that park bench and minded her own business. But she couldn't regret saving Uncle James. He was family. And despite everything, Emma was beginning to believe that family mattered more than anything. Emma's first morning at the estate began with sunshine streaming through windows she'd forgotten to close. She woke disoriented, her mind taking a moment to remember where she was and why. The soft bed, the beautiful room, it all came rushing back. She found her mother already awake, dressed in new clothes that actually fit properly. Sarah looked better after a full night's sleep, though tension still lined her face. Morning, baby, Sarah said, pulling Emma close. How did you sleep? Really good. The bed is like sleeping on a cloud. Emma hesitated. Are we really staying here? For now. But Emma, remember what I said? Don't get too comfortable. Breakfast was an elaborate affair in a dining room bigger than their old apartment. James was already there, reading a newspaper while drinking coffee. He smiled when they entered. Good morning. I hope you found everything you needed. Linda makes incredible pancakes if you're interested. Emma's eyes widened. She loved pancakes, but rarely had them. Really? Really? Linda, could we get pancakes for Emma, please? Linda appeared with a plate piled high with fluffy pancakes, fresh berries, and real maple syrup. Emma tried to eat politely, but it was hard not to shovel the delicious food into her mouth. James watched her with that same mixture of joy and sadness. Emma, I was thinking, would you like to see the rest of the estate today? There's a pool, a library, gardens. Marcus could give you a tour while I talk with your mother about some things. Emma looked at Sarah, who nodded permission. Okay. Marcus turned out to be surprisingly fun for a serious-looking security man. He was in his 30s with short-cropped hair and a scar on his left cheek, but his smile was warm as he showed Emma around. The pool was beautiful, surrounded by lounge chairs and flowering plants. Do you know how to swim? Marcus asked. A little. Mama taught me at the public pool. Well, now you have a private pool anytime you want. The library was Emma's favorite. 2 stories of books with a spiral staircase connecting them. Emma had always loved reading. It was free entertainment when they couldn't afford anything else. Mr. Brooks loves books too, Marcus said. He says you can borrow any book you want. There's a whole section of children's books on the 2nd floor. Emma ran up the spiral stairs, finding shelves full of classics, adventures, fairy tales. She pulled out The Secret Garden and hugged it to her chest. Found one you like? Marcus chuckled. I've always wanted to read this, but the library copy was always checked out. It's yours now. Come on. There's one more thing I want to show you. Marcus led her to the gardens, where a small gazebo overlooked a pond. Ducks swam lazily across the water. It was peaceful and beautiful. Mr. Brooks comes here when he needs to think, Marcus explained. He says it reminds him of a place he used to go with your mother when they were kids. Emma sat on the gazebo bench watching the ducks. Marcus, why does someone want to hurt Uncle James? Marcus's expression grew serious. That's complicated, kiddo. I'm smart. I can understand. Ooh, Marcus seemed to consider this. Your uncle is a very successful businessman. He built a company that helps people, medical devices that save lives, technology that makes hospitals better. But success creates jealousy. Some people want what he has, or they want to hurt him because he beat them in business. Like this Gerald Morgan person? Marcus's eyes sharpened. Where did you hear that name? I heard Uncle James on the phone last night. He mentioned Gerald Morgan. Marcus sighed. Gerald Morgan is a business rival. He's been trying to destroy your uncle's company for years. Recently, your uncle won a big contract that Gerald wanted. Some people think Gerald might be angry enough to do something drastic. Like poison? Emma whispered. Maybe. The police are investigating. Marcus put a hand on Emma's shoulder. But that's why I'm here. My job is to keep you and your family safe. Nobody's going to hurt you, Emma, I promise. Emma wanted to believe him. But she'd seen too much poverty and struggled to believe in easy promises. Bad things happen to good people all the time. They returned to the house to find James and Sarah in heated discussion in the study. Emma heard raised voices and froze. Trying to buy me, James, a job, school tuition, a trust fund for Emma. I'm trying to help. Sarah, you're my sister. Emma's my niece. Why is it so hard for you to accept help? Because you always have conditions. You'll control everything. The only condition is that you let me be part of your lives. James's voice cracked with frustration. I've missed 9 years, 9 years of watching Emma grow up. I can't get that back, but I can help with the future. Why won't you let me? Because I'm scared, Sarah finally admitted. Scared that Emma will love you more than me. Scared that she'll see how much better you can provide and think I'm not enough. Scared that I'll lose her. Silence fell. Then James spoke, his voice gentle. Sarah, Emma loves you. Nothing I do or give will change that. You're her mother. You've kept her fed and safe despite impossible circumstances. You're her hero. I'm just the uncle trying to make up for lost time. Emma's heart squeezed. She pushed open the door and ran to her mother, wrapping her arms around Sarah's waist. Mama, I'll never love anyone more than you. Never. Uncle James is nice and I like him, but you're my mama. You're my everything. Sarah sobbed, pulling Emma close. James watched them, his own eyes wet. I'm sorry, Sarah whispered. I'm sorry for being difficult. I'm just so tired of struggling, and this, all of this. It feels too good to be true. It's real, James said quietly, and it's not going away. Sarah, I want to give you a job. Not in my company where you'd feel indebted, but helping Linda manage the estate. She's been asking for an assistant for years. You'd have your own income, your own purpose, but Emma would still be here and safe. Sarah pulled back, wiping her eyes. Managing the estate? Helping Linda with the house, organizing my social calendar, handling some of the household finances. It's real work, Sarah. I'd pay you a real salary, and it would let you be here with Emma during this dangerous time. Emma watched her mother consider. Finally, Sarah nodded. Okay. I'll try it, but James, if this goes bad, it won't, James said firmly. I promise you, Sarah, things are going to get better now, for all of us. Emma's first day at Hamilton Preparatory Academy was terrifying. The school was beautiful, historic brick buildings, manicured lawns, students in expensive uniforms. Emma wore her new uniform, a crisp white shirt, plaid skirt and navy blazer, but felt like an imposter. Marcus drove her to school in the morning, a constant reminder that her life was different now. Other kids were dropped off by parents or drivers, but Emma couldn't shake the feeling that everyone knew she didn't belong here. You'll do great, Marcus said encouragingly. Mr. Brooks spoke with the headmistress. They're aware of the security situation and will keep an eye on you. Emma nodded, her stomach churning. She'd gone from public school, where she'd been invisible, to private school, where she was the girl with a bodyguard. The headmistress, Mrs. Patterson, was kind but formal. Emma, welcome to Hamilton. I trust you'll find our academic standards challenging but rewarding. We've placed you in Miss Reynolds' second-grade class. She's excellent and will help you adjust. Miss Reynolds was young and smiled warmly when Mrs. Patterson introduced them. Class, we have a new student. This is Emma Carter. Please make her feel welcome. 20 pairs of eyes turned to stare. Emma wanted to disappear. Emma, you can sit next to Lily Chen. Lily, please help Emma find her way today. Lily was small and delicate, with long black hair and a friendly smile. Hi, she whispered. Don't worry, everyone's nice here, mostly. Mostly? Emma whispered back. Well, there's Stephanie Morgan. She can be mean sometimes, but just ignore her. At lunch, Lily introduced Emma to her friends, Maya, a confident girl with dark curls, and Grace, quieter with red hair and freckles. They peppered Emma with questions about where she came from, why she transferred mid-year. Emma had prepared for this with Uncle James's help. My family moved to Riverside for my uncle's work. He thought I'd like Hamilton better than my old school. Is your Uncle James Brooks? A voice asked behind her. Emma turned to find a girl with perfect blonde hair and cold blue eyes, Stephanie Morgan. Yes, Emma admitted. Stephanie's smile didn't reach her eyes. My father knows your uncle. They're business associates. Oh, that's nice. Is it? Stephanie's tone suggested it wasn't nice at all. Well, welcome to Hamilton, Emma. I'm sure you'll fit in, eventually. Stephanie walked away, and Emma felt a chill despite the warm cafeteria. "Ignore her," Maya said firmly. "Stephanie's dad and Mr. Brooks apparently don't like each other. She's probably just being territorial." "Her dad's name is Gerald Morgan?" Emma asked, pieces clicking together. "Yeah, how did you know?" Emma's heart sank. Gerald Morgan, the man who might have tried to poison Uncle James, had a daughter at Emma's new school. A daughter who'd just made it clear Emma wasn't welcome. "Just a guess," Emma lied. That afternoon, Emma was called to the headmistress's office. She went nervously, wondering what she'd done wrong on her first day. Mrs. Patterson smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry, Emma, you're not in trouble. Your uncle is here to pick you up early. Something about a doctor's appointment." But when Emma reached the office, Uncle James looked serious, and Marcus was with him. "What's wrong?" Emma asked immediately. "Nothing urgent," James said carefully. "But we need to go. Now." In the car, James explained, the police identified the man in dark glasses, the one who switched the juice. His name is Victor Reeves, and he has a long criminal record. They arrested him this morning, and he's talking. He admitted Gerald Morgan paid him to poison me. "So Mr. Morgan will be arrested?" Emma asked hopefully. "Eventually. But Reeves claims he was paid through intermediaries. No direct contact with Gerald, no proof beyond Reeves's word. Gerald's lawyers are already calling it a fabrication." James's jaw tightened. "But the important thing is that Gerald now knows a 7-year-old girl foiled his plan. The police think he might try to silence you." Emma's blood ran cold. "He wants to hurt me? We won't let that happen," Marcus said firmly from the front seat. "But we're increasing security. Emma, from now on, either Marcus or I will be with you at all times. At school, at home, everywhere." "What about Mama?" "She'll have protection too," James assured her. Sarah wasn't happy about it, but she understands the necessity. Back at the estate, Emma found her mother pacing frantically. Sarah grabbed Emma the moment she walked in, checking her over, as if expecting injuries. "I'm okay, Mama," Emma said. "Uncle James and Marcus kept me safe." "This is too dangerous," Sarah said to James. "Maybe Emma and I should leave Riverside. Go somewhere Gerald Morgan can't find us." "Running won't help," James said. "Gerald has resources. He could track you down. Here at least I can protect you both." "By making Emma live in a fortress with bodyguards? That's no life for a child." "Better than the alternative." James snapped, then immediately softened. "Sarah, I'm sorry, but Gerald's a dangerous man. Until he's arrested and charged, we need to be cautious." Emma watched them argue, feeling guilty. This was all her fault. If she'd just minded her own business at the park, none of this would be happening. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Stephanie Morgan at school. Did Stephanie know what her father had tried to do? Would she hate Emma now? Emma crept downstairs for water and found Uncle James in his study, working late. He looked up and smiled tiredly. "Can't sleep either." Emma shook her head. "Uncle James, is Stephanie Morgan bad like her father?" James considered this carefully. "I don't think so. Stephanie's just a child who loves her father. She probably doesn't know the terrible things he's done. But, Emma, you need to be careful around her. Don't tell her anything about our security or our plans. Gerald might use his daughter to gather information." "That's sad," Emma said. "Using your own daughter like that?" "It is. But some people will do anything to win, even sacrifice their children's innocence." James pulled Emma onto his lap. "You're safe here, sweetheart. I won't let anyone hurt you." Emma wanted to believe him. But lying in bed later, she couldn't shake the feeling that this war with Gerald Morgan was just beginning. And somehow she'd landed right in the middle of it. At least she had Lily, Maya, and Grace as friends now. And Marcus, who was surprisingly funny for a bodyguard, and Uncle James, who was trying so hard to make up for lost time. Maybe, Emma thought as she finally drifted off, maybe things would be okay. Maybe her family was strong enough to weather this storm. She fell asleep, believing in maybes, not yet understanding how much darker things would get before they got better. School became Emma's new normal over the following weeks. She threw herself into academics, discovering she loved learning when she wasn't worried about where her next meal would come from. Miss Reynolds praised her progress, and Emma even made it onto the honor roll, her first real academic achievement. Lily became her best friend. They studied together, shared lunches, and had sleepovers at the estate when Lily's parents approved. Maya and Grace rounded out their friend group, and for the first time in Emma's life, she felt like she belonged somewhere. But Stephanie Morgan was a constant shadow. She never did anything overtly cruel. Hamilton Prep had strict anti-bullying policies, but her passive-aggressive comments stung. "Nice bracelet, Emma. Did your uncle buy that for you?" He had, a simple silver chain for her birthday. "I heard your mom's working as a housekeeper now. That's interesting," said with a smile that suggested it was anything but interesting. "Must be hard, adjusting to this lifestyle after being so poor," said loud enough for others to hear. Emma tried to ignore it, but the constant needling wore on her. She never retaliated, knowing Uncle James was right. Stephanie was gathering information for her father. One afternoon in late October, things escalated. Emma was reading in the library during free period when Stephanie approached with two other girls, Caroline and Jessica. "Emma, we need to talk," Stephanie said, sitting across from her. "About what?" "About how your uncle is trying to destroy my father's company." Stephanie's sweet facade cracked slightly. "My dad's been in business for 30 years. Your uncle's an upstart who uses dirty tricks to win contracts." "That's not true," Emma said quietly. "Uncle James works hard and plays fair." "Really? Then why is my father under investigation because of accusations your uncle made?" Stephanie leaned forward. "My dad says James Brooks is vindictive and will stop at nothing to eliminate competition." Emma's hands tightened on her book. "Your father tried to poison Uncle James. I saw it happen." The words were out before Emma could stop them. The other girls gasped. Stephanie's face went white, then red with fury. "You're a liar! My father would never—" "I saw the man switch the cups. The police arrested him. He confessed your father paid him." Emma stood, her voice shaking but determined. "My uncle almost died, and it's your father's fault." Stephanie stood too, her fists clenched. For a moment, Emma thought she might actually hit her. Instead, Stephanie smiled, a cold, calculating smile that reminded Emma of a snake. "You just made a big mistake, Emma Carter. My father's going to hear about this." Stephanie stormed out with her friends following. Emma sat back down, her heart racing. She should tell Uncle James what happened, but she was afraid he'd pull her from school, and she'd finally found a place where she fit in. That evening, Emma said nothing about the confrontation. But at dinner, James seemed troubled. "Gerald's lawyers filed a motion today to dismiss all charges," he announced. "They're claiming Victor Reeves is an unreliable witness with a history of lying. Without physical evidence directly connecting Gerald to the poisoning, the case is shaky." "So he might get away with it?" Sarah asked, horrified. "Possibly. The prosecutor is still building the case, looking for money transfers, communications, anything concrete. But Gerald's good at covering his tracks." James pushed his food around his plate. "He's also been spreading rumors in business circles that I fabricated the whole thing to damage his reputation." "That's ridiculous," Sarah said fiercely. "Emma saved your life. She witnessed the attempt. I know you know. But wealthy men with expensive lawyers can create reasonable doubt." James looked at Emma apologetically. "I'm sorry you got dragged into this, sweetheart." Emma thought about Stephanie's threat but stayed silent. She didn't want to worry them more. The next day at school, Emma noticed Stephanie watching her with an unsettling intensity. During math class, the headmistress's assistant appeared at the door and whispered to Miss Reynolds, "Emma, please gather your things. You're needed in the office." Emma's stomach dropped. Had something happened to Mama or Uncle James? She hurried to the office, where Mrs. Patterson waited with a serious expression. "Emma, sit down, please. I need to ask you about an incident in the library yesterday." Relief that her family was safe warred with new anxiety. "What incident?" "Stephanie Morgan's parents called this morning. They claim you made false accusations against Mr. Morgan in front of other students. They're threatening legal action for slander." Emma's heart pounded. "I didn't lie. I told Stephanie what I saw at the park. The man who poisoned Uncle James's juice. The police arrested him, and he said Mr. Morgan paid him." Mrs. Patterson sighed. "Emma, I believe you're telling the truth as you understand it. However, making such serious accusations about a student's parent puts the school in a difficult position. The Morgans are threatening to sue both you and Hamilton Prep if you continue spreading these claims." "So I'm supposed to pretend it didn't happen?" Emma asked, tears forming. "I'm saying you need to be very careful about what you say and to whom. These are serious allegations involving powerful people." Mrs. Patterson's expression softened. "Emma, I know this situation isn't your fault, but you're 7 years old and caught in an adult conflict. Let the adults and the legal system handle it." Emma nodded miserably and returned to class. But Stephanie's smug smile when Emma walked in told her everything she needed to know. Stephanie had run to her parents, and they'd used their power to silence Emma. At lunch, Lily noticed Emma's mood. "What happened? You look upset." Emma told her friends about the office visit. Maya's eyes widened. "The Morgans threatened to sue you?" "That's crazy." "My parents say Mr. Morgan is dangerous," Grace added quietly. "They told me to stay away from Stephanie because her family's involved in shady business. But everyone's afraid to say it out loud because the Morgans have money and lawyers," Lily finished. "It's not fair." Emma agreed. Nothing about this situation was fair. But what could a 7-year-old girl do against a powerful man determined to escape justice? That afternoon, Detective Morrison visited the estate. Emma listened from the stairs as she spoke with Uncle James in the study. "We've traced the money Reeves received to a shell corporation, but we can't definitively link it to Gerald Morgan. He's got layers of protection built in." Detective Morrison sounded frustrated. "Unless we find someone willing to testify about his involvement or discover communications between them, we may have to drop the charges." "He tried to kill me," James said flatly, "and now he's threatening my 7-year-old niece to keep her quiet." "I know, but knowing something and proving it in court are different things." A pause. "Mr. Brooks, you need to be prepared for the possibility that Gerald might walk away from this." "Unacceptable." "I agree, but it's reality. In the meantime, keep your family safe. Gerald's getting more desperate and unpredictable." After the detective left, Emma found Uncle James sitting at his desk with his head in his hands. He looked defeated in a way she'd never seen before. "Uncle James?" He looked up, forcing a smile. "Hey, sweetheart. How was school?" "Stephanie's parents threatened to sue me for telling the truth." James's expression darkened. "Sarah mentioned that. I spoke with the school. Emma, I need you to be careful what you say at school about the Morgans. I know it's unfair, but we need to be smart." "So he wins. Mr. Morgan tries to kill you and gets away with it?" "Not if I can help it." James pulled Emma onto his lap. "But sweetheart, this fight isn't yours. You're a child. You shouldn't have to deal with any of this." "But I'm already dealing with it," Emma pointed out. "Stephanie hates me. Her father wants to hurt our family. Pretending it's not happening won't make it go away." James hugged her tightly. "When did you get so wise? I learned from watching you and Mama. You both fight for what's right, even when it's hard. Speaking of your mother, she's been incredible. Linda says Sarah's a natural at managing the estate. She's organized systems, improved efficiency, even caught accounting errors I'd missed for months." James smiled proudly. "Your mother's brilliant, Emma. She just needed a chance to show it." Emma felt warmth spread through her chest. Mama was happy, truly happy for the first time in years. She had meaningful work, financial security, and was rebuilding her relationship with Uncle James. Whatever happened with the Morgans, at least Mama was safe and thriving. That night, Emma made a decision. She couldn't control what Gerald Morgan did, or whether he went to prison, but she could control how she responded. She wouldn't live in fear. She wouldn't let Stephanie's meanness change who she was. And she'd keep being brave, even when it was scary. She pulled out her journal, a gift from Uncle James, and wrote, "Today I learned that doing the right thing doesn't always lead to fairness. Sometimes bad people get away with bad things, but that doesn't mean I stop trying to be good. Mama says courage isn't about not being scared. It's about being scared and doing the right thing anyway. I'm going to be courageous." Emma fell asleep that night with renewed determination. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing for certain. She was a Brooks now, and Brooks women didn't back down from fights, no matter how powerful the enemy. Outside her window, Marcus stood guard, watching the shadows for threats. Inside the estate, James worked late into the night, searching for evidence that would bring Gerald Morgan to justice. And in the kitchen, Sarah prepared Emma's lunch for tomorrow, adding an extra cookie because her daughter deserved something sweet in a world that had been too bitter for too long. The Brooks family was under siege, but they were together, and together they were stronger than any enemy who came against them, even one as dangerous as Gerald Morgan. November brought cold winds and revelations. Emma turned 8 with a party at the estate, her first real birthday with cake, presents, and friends. Lily, Maya, and Grace came, along with other classmates. Even Stephanie attended, though she stood apart with a fake smile. "Make a wish," Uncle James said as Emma leaned over the candles. Emma closed her eyes and wished for safety and for bad things to finally end. She blew out candles and everyone cheered. But Emma caught Stephanie's expression, cold calculation behind manufactured happiness. After the party, Emma overheard James on the phone. "The charges were dropped," James said, voice tight with fury. "Insufficient evidence. Gerald's lawyers got Reeves's testimony thrown out. He's free, Morrison. Gerald Morgan tried to murder me and he's walking away." Emma's stomach twisted. Mr. Morgan was free? At school Monday, Stephanie's attitude shifted. She was openly triumphant. "My father's case was dismissed," she announced at lunch. "Turns out those accusations were all lies." Whispers followed Emma through hallways. Even teachers seemed more distant. Only Lily remained steadfast. "I believe you, Emma." Richard Chen, Lily's 12-year-old cousin, started sitting with them at lunch. "My parents work in finance," Richard explained. "They say Gerald Morgan is dirty. Shady business deals, offshore accounts, possible money laundering. But he's good at covering tracks." Emma saw a spark of interest in Richard's eyes. For the first time since charges were dropped, Emma felt hope. That evening, Emma did something risky. She asked Uncle James if she could learn about his business. "Mr. Morgan wants to destroy your company. I want to understand why." James explained Brooks Industries, medical devices that saved lives. "Gerald Morgan runs Morgan Medical Supply. They used to dominate the market, but our innovations have been taking their customers. Gerald's company has been struggling financially." "So he's jealous," Emma summarized. "Essentially, but it's more than that. Losing market share to us might actually bankrupt him. A desperate man is dangerous." "What if he tries to sabotage your company?" Emma asked. James's expression grew troubled. "That's actually a legitimate concern." Over the next weeks, Emma paid attention to everything. She noticed Stephanie asking subtle questions about Uncle James's work schedule, travel plans, upcoming projects. Emma answered vaguely but made mental notes. She told Richard about her observations. He started keeping a log. Stephanie's definitely gathering intelligence. The question is what her father plans to do with it. In December, Emma's instincts proved correct. Uncle James came home early, face ashen. Someone broke into our main research facility last night. They accessed our computers. We don't know what information they copied. Gerald, Sarah said immediately. Emma felt rage bubble up inside her. Uncle James, Emma said slowly. What if we set a trap? James stared at his 8-year-old niece with dawning amazement. That's actually brilliant. If we can catch him acting on false information we deliberately leaked, we'd have proof of corporate espionage. But it's dangerous, Sarah protested. He won't know I'm involved, Emma said confidently. He thinks I'm just a little kid. James looked torn. Finally, he nodded. Let me think about it. Talk to my lawyers and security team. Emma went to bed feeling purposeful. In her journal she wrote, Tomorrow I start proving Mama was right. I'm small but mighty. Mr. Morgan hurt my family. Now it's time to fight back the smart way. Christmas came with twinkling lights, but tension hung over the estate. James's security team had implemented Emma's trap idea with precision. They created false documents detailing a fictional medical device, something revolutionary. The documents were strategically placed where a corporate spy might find them. Emma's role was simple but crucial. She let slip to Stephanie during casual conversation that Uncle James was working on something super secret and important. Really? Stephanie had asked, interest poorly concealed. What kind of thing? Something about heart monitors that can predict heart attacks before they happen. He says it'll change medicine forever. Stephanie's eyes gleamed. That does sound important. Emma reported the conversation to Uncle James, who nodded approvingly. Perfect. If Gerald takes the bait, he'll try to steal or sabotage that technology. Which doesn't exist, Emma confirmed. But waiting for Gerald to make his move was agonizing. Days turned into weeks. January brought startling developments. Emma returned to school after winter break to find the atmosphere changed. Did you see the news? Maya asked. Brooks Industries' stock dropped 15%, something about faulty medical equipment. Emma's stomach dropped. After school, Emma found the estate in chaos. Men in suits filled James's study. James looked defeated. Someone leaked false information to the FDA, claiming our existing medical devices are dangerous, James explained. This is sabotage, Emma. Someone manufactured evidence. Gerald Morgan, Emma said with certainty. That night, Emma overheard James talking. If the investigation goes against us, Brooks Industries could be finished. I could lose everything. Emma couldn't sleep. She started researching. The leaked information came from someone with inside access. Emma made a list of everything she knew. An idea formed. The next day at school, Emma approached Stephanie. My uncle's really upset about the investigation, she said, making her voice scared. I heard him talking about moving important files from the office to home this weekend, Saturday night. Stephanie's eyes gleamed. Emma saw calculation there. That evening, Emma told James what she'd done. That was clever, he admitted. If Stephanie tells her father, Gerald might make a move Saturday night. We can catch them. Saturday night arrived. Around midnight, James's phone rang. We got them, James said. Both of them. Gerald's industrial spy and our internal traitor. Who was the traitor? Emma asked. James's smile faded. Dr. Richard Chen, head of our medical testing division, Lily's uncle. Emma gasped. No, Lily's family. Monday at school confirmed Emma's fears. Lily wouldn't look at her. The whole school knew Emma had helped trap Dr. Chen. You're a spy, Stephanie hissed. You pretended to be my friend and used me. At lunch, Lily approached, face red from crying. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you warn me? I couldn't, Emma whispered. My family's hurt now, Lily said. Was catching the bad guys worth that? Emma had no answer. That afternoon, James picked Emma up personally. He took her for ice cream. I know this is hard, James said. You did the right thing, but doing right sometimes hurts. I lost my best friend, Emma said miserably. That night, Emma started a letter to Lily about friendship and difficult choices. She sealed it and gave it to Marcus to deliver. February arrived with unexpected consequences. The investigation cleared Brooks Industries completely. Dr. Jen's confession, combined with evidence of Gerald Morgan's involvement, shifted public opinion. Stock rebounded stronger than before, but Gerald wasn't finished. His humiliation made him more dangerous. Emma received her first direct threat on Valentine's Day. A note in her locker, "Little girls who meddle get hurt." Security at school increased. Marcus now walked Emma between classes. Emma hated it. Kids stared. Even teachers treated her differently. Lily still wasn't speaking to her. Emma felt isolated, surrounded by bodyguards, but friendless. Then something unexpected happened. Richard Chen approached Emma in the library. "My uncle deserved what he got," Richard said bluntly. "He was weak. You did what needed doing. Lily doesn't think so. Lily's 12, upset and embarrassed, but she'll come around." Richard pushed his glasses up. "You shouldn't be alone. You need allies." "Are you offering to be my ally?" "Why not? Besides, you're interesting." Most 8-year-olds aren't involved in corporate espionage. Despite everything, Emma laughed. Richard became Emma's unexpected friend and protector. In March, Lily finally spoke to Emma in the bathroom. "My mom says I've been unfair," Lily said quietly. "I never wanted to hurt your family," Emma said earnestly. Lily nodded slowly. "I know." "Friends again?" "Always," Emma said, relief flooding through her. With Lily's friendship restored and Richard's alliance, Emma felt less alone. But the threat from Gerald remained. In late March, James received intelligence that chilled him. Gerald was being investigated by federal authorities for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. He was facing potential prison time. "A cornered animal is most dangerous," James told his security team. "Gerald has nothing left to lose." Security increased again. Emma could no longer go anywhere without bodyguards. Then, on a rainy April afternoon, everything came to a head. Emma was at Richard's house for a study session when his mother rushed in. "Turn on the news." On television, Brooks Industries headquarters was surrounded by police. Smoke poured from one window. "A bomb threat was called in," the reporter announced. Emma's phone rang. James's voice was strained but calm. "I'm fine. Everyone's safe." It was a smoke bomb, but Emma, Gerald's making his move. "What do we do?" "You stay exactly where you are until Marcus brings you home. We're close to ending this. Federal agents are moving to arrest Gerald within days." The drive home felt eternal. Marcus took back roads, constantly checking mirrors. They were 3 blocks from the estate when another car suddenly swerved toward them. Marcus cursed and yanked the wheel. Their SUV spun on wet road. Emma screamed as they crashed into a light pole. Airbags deployed. Everything was chaos. Then Marcus was pulling her from wreckage, blood running down his face. "Run!" he shouted. "Get help! Call 911!" Emma ran, legs pumping, breath burning. Behind her, angry male voices. She pounded on the first door. An elderly woman answered and pulled her inside. "Call the police!" Emma gasped. "Bad men are after me." Through the window, Emma saw Marcus fighting 2 men on the street. He was injured and outnumbered, but fought to give Emma time to escape. Police sirens wailed, growing closer. The men fled, leaving Marcus collapsed on pavement. Minutes later, James arrived. He ran to Emma, pulling her into his arms. "I've got you," he whispered fiercely. "You're safe." But Emma knew the truth. She wouldn't be truly safe until Gerald Morgan was stopped. Gerald Morgan was arrested the next morning. Federal agents raided his home and offices. Charges were extensive: fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy, attempted murder. Media descended. Emma stayed home from school, too shaken. Marcus was in hospital with concussion and broken ribs, but alive. He's a hero, James said, visiting Marcus with Emma. I'm giving him a raise and bonus that'll set him up for life. Emma held Marcus's hand carefully. Thank you for protecting me. Any time, kid. Marcus's expression grew serious. Those men were trying to kill you. News the next day brought a shocking twist. Gerald Morgan had posted bail, $10 million. He was under house arrest with ankle monitor but out of jail. He's still dangerous, James told his security team. We maintain maximum security on Emma. The strain showed on everyone. Linda barely slept. James worked from home. Emma struggled with nightmares. None of this is your fault, Richard told her over video chat. Gerald Morgan chose his actions. But people got hurt, Emma said miserably. You helped expose truth faster, which probably saved more people. Richard pushed his glasses up. Don't second-guess your courage. James suggested leaving Riverside temporarily. I have a house in Colorado. We could go there until the trial. Emma thought about her mother, how Sarah had tried hiding from James's world. Running hadn't saved her. No, Emma said firmly. We stay. We face this. I won't give him that satisfaction. James looked at her with pride and concern. You're sure? I'm sure. The trial starts in 2 months. Gerald will go to prison, then it'll be over. The next weeks were tense but quiet. Gerald remained under house arrest. But underneath the calm, Emma sensed something brewing. Her instinct proved correct in late May. Emma was in the garden with Linda when Marcus came running. Inside, now! In the security office, Marcus showed them the alert. Gerald Morgan cut off his ankle monitor. He's gone. James arrived within minutes, face grim. He's making a final play. He'll target Emma because she's my weakness. Emma's blood ran cold. We're leaving, James decided. Right now. Sir, if we leave now, we're vulnerable on the road, Marcus cautioned. Better to lock down here. Marcus is right, Emma said. If we run now, Gerald might intercept us. Here, we have advantages. James made the decision. We stay. Full lockdown. The house transformed within an hour. Every entrance secured. Security guards positioned. Police cars arrived. FBI agents set up in guest house. Emma tried to remain calm, but fear curled in her stomach. Somewhere out there, a desperate man wanted her dead. Night fell. Emma couldn't sleep. Around midnight, alarms shrieked through the estate. Emma bolted upright as Linda grabbed her. He's here, Linda said, voice shaking. Gerald's on the property. The estate erupted in chaos. Security guards shouted. Police spotlights swept grounds. Linda pulled Emma into the secret panic room, a reinforced steel chamber hidden behind a bookshelf. Stay here. Don't come out until someone you trust tells you it's safe. Don't leave me, Emma cried. I have to help defend the house, but you'll be safe here. Linda kissed Emma's forehead. Your mother would be so proud. Then Linda was gone. Emma was alone in the small, dark room. Through video monitors on the wall, Emma could see security camera feeds. She watched figures moving through darkness. A camera caught movement near the west fence. A figure in dark clothes scaled the wall. Not Gerald, he was too old. He'd brought help. On another camera, Emma saw a second intruder, then a third. Gerald had brought a team. This wasn't a desperate last stand. It was a coordinated attack. Emma's mind raced. Why would Gerald bring a team unless the attack was a distraction? A way to draw security away from the real target, her. Then Emma saw something that made her blood freeze. On the camera showing the hallway outside James's bedroom, she spotted a figure moving toward the hidden bookshelf entrance. Someone knew about the panic room. Someone had told Gerald exactly where Emma would hide. Emma grabbed the emergency phone. Marcus, someone's coming to the panic room. Someone knows where I am. What? That's impossible. Marcus's voice crackled with alarm. Stay calm. We're coming. But the figure was already at the bookshelf. Emma watched in horror as the person reached behind a specific book and pressed something. The bookshelf began to slide open. Emma backed against the far wall, grabbing the only thing she could find, a heavy flashlight. The bookshelf finished opening, revealing not Gerald Morgan, but someone Emma recognized with shock. Stephanie Morgan stepped into the panic room, holding a gun that looked enormous in her small hands. "Hello, Emma," Stephanie said, her voice eerily calm for a 12-year-old. "My father sends his regards." Emma's mind reeled. Stephanie, sweet, calculating Stephanie had been the spy all along. "You," Emma whispered. "You told him about the panic room." "I've told him lots of things," Stephanie said proudly. "About your uncle's schedule, his projects, his security measures. Daddy says I've been very helpful." "You're 12 years old," Emma said, bewildered. "How can you do this?" "Family loyalty," Stephanie said simply. "Daddy taught me family comes first, always. Your uncle tried to destroy our family, so we destroy his, starting with you." The gun wavered in Stephanie's hands. She was trying to look tough, but Emma saw fear underneath. Stephanie was a child forced into something terrible by her father's obsession. "You don't want to do this," Emma said carefully. "Stephanie, you're not a killer." "I have to," Stephanie insisted, but her voice cracked. "Daddy's losing everything because of you." "No, your father did this by trying to hurt people." Emma kept her voice calm. "Stephanie, if you shoot me, you'll go to prison. Is that what you want?" "I want my family back," Stephanie shouted, tears streaming. "I want things to be how they were before you came." The gun shook violently. "It can't go back," Emma said gently. "Your father made choices that can't be undone, but you can make different choices. You can stop this before someone gets hurt." Footsteps thundered in the hallway. Marcus's voice shouted, "Emma!" Stephanie spun toward the sound, the gun swinging wildly. Emma saw her chance and lunged, swinging the heavy flashlight at Stephanie's wrist. The gun flew from her hands. Both girls dove for it, but Marcus burst through first, tackling Stephanie away from the weapon. Within seconds, security had the girl restrained while she screamed. "Daddy, I'm sorry. I tried. Daddy." James appeared, pulling Emma into his arms. "Thank God you're safe." Police flooded the room. Emma watched as they led Stephanie away in handcuffs, still crying for her father. "The rest of the team's been apprehended," Marcus reported. 4 mercenaries caught, but Gerald himself wasn't with them. An FBI agent ran up the stairs. "We found him. He tried to escape in a boat on the river. Coast Guard intercepted him." It was over. Gerald Morgan was in custody. His daughter faced charges. His empire was destroyed. Emma felt only sadness for a girl twisted by her father's hate. "Will Stephanie go to jail?" Emma asked James quietly. "Probably juvenile detention and psychiatric care. She's a child who needs help, not prison." James held Emma close. "Unlike her father, who'll spend the rest of his life behind bars." Emma nodded, exhausted. The war was over. They'd won. But victory tasted bitter. The trial of Gerald Morgan became the media event of the decade. Emma didn't attend. James shielded her from the circus, but she followed news reports, watched as witness after witness testified to Gerald's crimes. The poisoning attempt, the corporate espionage, the fake reports, the order to kill Emma. The list went on. Gerald's lawyers tried every defense. Nothing worked. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. They found Gerald Morgan guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced him to 45 years in federal prison. At 62 years old, it was effectively a life sentence. Stephanie Morgan was sentenced to 3 years in juvenile detention, followed by mandatory psychological treatment. Her mother divorced Gerald immediately and moved across the country. "How do you feel?" Linda asked Emma the night the verdicts came in. "I don't know," Emma admitted. She was 9 now. "Relieved, I guess, but also sad. A whole family destroyed." Gerald destroyed his own family, James said firmly. Not you, Emma. Never you. Mum, but Emma couldn't shake Stephanie's face in the panic room. Can I write to her? Emma asked. To Stephanie. James and Linda exchanged glances. Why would you want to? Linda asked gently. Because she's alone now. She did terrible things, but she's still just a kid. Emma looked at them. Maybe if someone shows her kindness, she can become someone different. James smiled sadly. Yes, you can write to her, through her lawyers and with supervision. But Emma, she may not write back. She may hate you. That's okay, Emma said. I just want her to know someone cares. The letter took Emma days to write. Finally, she settled on something simple, telling Stephanie she didn't hate her, that she could make different choices, that Emma was there if she ever wanted to talk. Emma sent the letter and tried not to hope for a response. Spring came to Riverside. Life slowly returned to normal. Marcus recovered fully. Sarah thrived in her role managing the estate. James's company recovered stronger than ever. Emma flourished at Hamilton Prep. She made honor roll, joined the reading club, and tried out for the spring play. Lily, Maya, Grace, and Richard became her core friend group. In June, 3 months after the trial ended, Emma received a letter from Stephanie's juvenile detention facility. Emma's hands shook as she opened it. Emma, I don't forgive you. I'm not ready for that yet. Maybe I never will be. But my therapist says holding on to hate will only hurt me more, so I'm trying to let it go. You were right. My father made choices that destroyed our family. I can't fix what he broke, but I can try not to make his mistakes. I'm in therapy 3 times a week. It's hard, but I'm trying. I don't know if we'll ever be friends, but thank you for not hating me back. Stephanie Emma showed the letter to James. It's a start, he said. Stephanie has a long road ahead, but at least she's walking it. That summer, the Brooks family took their first real vacation, a trip to Colorado to see James's mountain house. They hiked, fished, and sat by the fire telling stories. One evening, Sarah sat beside Emma on the porch. I spent 9 years running from James's world, Sarah said quietly. I thought I was protecting you, but you taught me something this year. You showed me that running from danger doesn't keep you safe. Sometimes you have to stand and fight. Are you happy now? Emma asked. Sarah smiled. Yes, I'm happy. I have meaningful work, financial security, my brother back, and my incredible daughter safe and thriving. I'm happier than I've been in years. Good, Emma said, snuggling closer. You deserve to be happy, Mama. As darkness fell and stars began to appear, Emma reflected on the past year. She'd gone from a poor, struggling child to a wealthy businessman's niece. She'd saved her uncle's life, helped catch criminals, survived attempts on her own life, and somehow found compassion for a girl who'd tried to kill her. Uncle James? Emma called. Can I ask you something? Anything, sweetheart. Do you think Mama and I can stay at the estate, not just until things are safe, but permanently, as a real family? James's eyes filled with tears. He looked at Sarah, who nodded with her own tears falling. Emma, there's nothing I want more, James said, voice thick with emotion. You and your mother are my family. This is your home. Forever, if you want it. I want it, Emma said firmly. This is where we belong. Sarah pulled both Emma and James into a hug. We belong together, all 3 of us. Whatever comes next, we face it as a family. Under the Colorado stars, the Brooks family held each other and looked toward the future. There would be challenges ahead, but they would face them together, stronger for having survived the worst. Emma closed her eyes and made a silent promise to her younger self, the scared 7-year-old girl who'd knocked a cup of poison from a stranger's hand. We made it. We survived. And we found something better than safety. We found family, courage, and home. Thank you for being brave that day. Everything we have now began with that one moment of courage. When Emma opened her eyes, she saw her mother and uncle watching her with love and pride. She saw the stars above, infinite and bright. She saw the future stretching ahead, full of possibility. She was 9 years old. She'd survived poverty, danger, and a war with a powerful enemy. She'd lost and won, hurt and healed, feared and conquered. But most importantly, she'd learned that family, real family, was worth fighting for. That courage meant standing up even when you're terrified. That kindness was stronger than hate. And that sometimes the smallest person could make the biggest difference. Emma Brooks smiled and settled back to watch the stars, surrounded by the people she loved most in the world, finally and truly home.